was just one face in the crowd. He was tired and he was hungry, scared but he was proud. He had walked across the desert to escape slavery, and now he's caught between his taskmasters and the waters of the Red Sea. Pharaoh and his army was coming up fast from behind, and the Israelites were arguing. They were of two minds. Some said we should turn around, go back to what we know. Slavery can't be half as bad as drowning. You gotta take one small step. One small step, you gotta take one small step for freedom. You gotta take one small step. One small step, you gotta take one small step for freedom. The other side, well, they were very few, said no, this cannot be. We can't go back, we've come so far in fleeing slavery. If you just stay put, I think you'll find that God will make a move, and a miracle will save us all. Just wait, you gotta take one small step. One small step, you gotta take one small step for freedom. You gotta take one small step. One small step, you gotta take one small step for freedom. No one noticed Nachshon over by the rippling tide. He had one foot in the water, his shoes at his side. He took one step, then another, till he could barely breathe. And just when the world went dark, the waters parted and we were free. 'Cause he took one small step. One small step, you gotta take one small step for freedom. Gotta take one small step. One small step, you gotta take one small step for freedom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
A little introduction to getting ready for Passover tomorrow.
What a great song about the step into the sea and the parting of the waters, and we're all going to be there tomorrow.
It's a great story. If they don't know the story of Nachshon, we should put them onto that, because it's a story about faith.
But now we have Shabbat.
We have Shabbat.
And we're here in the sanctuary with many friends. How good it is to be with people, real people, and to look at your faces. I love the camera, but not that much. I'm so pleased to be celebrating Shabbat with you. And Ardith, I think you have the wrong book. You need a prayer book like this one. And speaking of the prayer book, to those of you who are joining us, Ardith, it's behind your chair or under your chair. I got it, okay. For those of you who are joining us through the live stream, the prayer book is just above this picture in a square that looks like this prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah, and we hope you'll follow along and sing along at home and read if you'd like. And by the way, if you don't want to click on that prayer book, you can just enjoy being with us. And we're thrilled to have you on this Shabbat right before Pesach.
We also have our band tonight in preparation for a little sermon and song on Passover and spring and Song of Songs, and we have a special guest jazz violinist with us tonight, Bruno Nesta. Welcome, Bruno.
Welcome,
Great
Bruno.
to see you. Along with our
All right.
band, Tony Knocker, Aaron Bertoglio, and Dallas Smith. So great to have them.
It's so wonderful, and the renewal with all of you here, with the band here, it feels real. So hopefully there'll be a joy for all of us here in the sanctuary. Members of our congregation are here or online who are in a period of mourning or perhaps here for yard site. We hope that the joy that comes out of the service will lighten the load that you're carrying on this Shabbat as well. It's great. I think is this the first time we have someone lighting candles in person? I think it is, because last week was Bar Mitzvah. So, Flora, is this the one anniversary of your bat mitzvah, which was the last bat mitzvah that we had physically in the building with no one here, right? You were here, but no one else was here, and you became a bat mitzvah on your own. And so we're celebrating that 1 year anniversary. You're lighting candles with your dad, Eric. So we'd like to invite the two of you to come forward. You can pop away your mask for a moment. And to the rest of the congregation, we are on page 3 in the prayer book. The reading's on page 3. The blessing is backwards on page 2. Reading first.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, Shel Shabbat. Thank you, Flora and Eric. And we turn now in our prayer books to Lecha Dodi, the central part of Kabbalat Shabbat, which is found on page 20 in your prayer book. Page 20, we'll sing verses 1, 2, and 9. And for those of you here in the sanctuary, if you want to follow the traditional custom of standing for the last verse and welcoming the Sabbath bride as you face the door, you're welcome to do so. At home and here, it's up to you. Here we go. Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, tishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiveret v'litila lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habaraka, merosh mikedem nesucha. So ba'aseh b'makshava tchila lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Bo בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. That gets us ready for prayer,
I know,
don't you
there
think?
was so much joy.
There's a lot of joy. And you know, the Barchu, which is next, which I'll invite you all to rise for, page 28, is a new melody written by our own Tony Knocker, our pianist, band director.
Tony, thank you. Please rise and join us in the call to worship, the Baruch.
Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Leolam, Leolam Vaed. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Lai, lai, lai.
And on page 30, a beautiful prayer for a beautiful evening, Ma'ariv Aravim, is a prayer that connects us with the beginning of evening, which for us, of course, is the beginning of a new day. So if you're comfortable with the Hebrew, please join. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu haolam, asher בחוכמה פותח שערים ובדבונה משנה עתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור ומעביר יום ומביא לילה בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים. Hearing your voices caught me off guard. And I had a little moment because I'm feeling hopeful that we will all be back together in the sanctuary again soon. And so perhaps it's fitting to share the poem on the opposite page, because indeed, I hope you are, as I am, feeling that we are heading there, we're getting there, as a society, but also with Pesach upon us. We are, in a special time. And so maybe you'll hear in this poem what I feel in terms of the specialness of this evening and this time. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is an hour of change, and within it we stand silently on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or shall we cross over? Hopefully, we will cross over into better places, and we will do so as one community and one nation. And that oneness is captured in the Shema, which is on page 34. We sing together.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam
Please be seated and join us in chanting V'ahavta, page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And we move from V'ahavta to Milchamocha. How fitting, as we are just almost at Passover, and Milchamocha, of course, is the song we sang when we got across that sea. The poem on page 39 sets us up for imagining that moment. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Adonai imloch leolam vaed. Yai lai, yai lai lai lai, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Mi Chamocha is a song of our redemption in ancient times. We sing it not only to connect to that past moment, but we sing it also because we realize that redemption is still needed in our world. And certainly these last weeks have told us so, with tragedy throughout our country, violence, a bias that exists against people, so many different people. And so we need not only redemption, it starts with love and understanding. And so let's turn to page 43, where Hashkevinu, a prayer of protection, is presented to us in this beautiful English prayer, asking for love and understanding, that might be a shelter, a protector, a way to make the world better.
Understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us, let peace and friendship be our shelter. Hashkevinu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkevinu leshalom. Ve'ha'amidenu, shomreinu lechayim. Aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkevinu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkevinu leshalom. Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkevinu leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. We continue now with Hatefillah, the central prayer section of our service. Begins on page 46. If you're comfortable rising, please do so as we join together in the chanting of the first few pages. Adonai sefatai tivtachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 48. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באחווה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Page 50. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. Last time we sing that. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. Page 52. אתה קדוש ושמך הקדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. You may be seated. Page 55, let's read together at the top of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. As we close this part of our service, in place of a song of peace, I want to share with you a song in preparation for our Seders tomorrow. The text is called Halachma Anya. It's actually Aramaic, and it speaks of the idea that that we should open our tables, our homes, and to anybody, and make the world a better place, is what this song is all about. The text itself is, "This is the bread of affliction." And so I'd love to sing this for you now as we think about the peace that comes out of our Seders tomorrow, being together, even if we're virtually together, being together and finding wholeness through those Jewish rituals and holidays. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. The bread that we ate in Mitzrayim. All who are hungry, let them come and eat. All who are hungry, let them come and eat. All who are hungry, let them come and eat. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. are in need, let them come and celebrate. All who are in need, let them come and celebrate. All who are in need, let them come and celebrate. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. The bread that we ate in Mitzrayim. Next year may we all be free. Next year may we all be free. Next year may we all be free. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. Halachma Anya. The bread that we ate in Mitzrayim. The bread that we ate in Mitzrayim. The bread that we ate in Mitzrayim. We take a moment now for the prayers of our own hearts as we pray silently. Say shalom bimromav, uya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru shalom bimromav, uya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru shalom bimromav, uya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Yai la 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 la. La 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oh, say shalom bimromav, uya'aseh shalom aleinu. We think now of the people that need our prayers for their healing, for their well-being, spiritually, physically, emotionally. And so we offer a traditional Misha Berach prayer for them. Misha Berach avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham Yitzhak ve'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah hu yivarech et ha'cholim HaKadosh Baruch Hu yimalei rachamim alechem lecha halimam u'rapotam lecha chazikam v'yishlach lechem mehira refuah Ufuah shlema min hashamayim, ufuat hanefesh, ufuat haguf, hashta ba'agala vizman kariv, v'nomar amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those who are ill, including Alon ben Barbara, Hannah Esther bat Crandall, Yehuda ben Fischel, Richard Bizar, Henry Botak, Benjamin Cohen Mars, Babette Cohn, Benaifer Devar, Elizabeth Drabkin, Rachel Duff, Rochelle Einstein, Michael Fisher, Marcy Friedman, Jamie Hecker, Linda Hoffman, Sonia Heimer, Martha Kelly, Nancy Klein, Louis Landsberg, Noah Lelchuk, Alan Levy, Ethel Pomerantz, George Schutzer, Piper Williams, Linda Wu. And we pray for all those who are suffering in both Atlanta and in Boulder, Colorado, along with all those people who are victims of violence in Israel, here, and around the world, as well as all those in service to our country who need emotional, physical, and spiritual healing, and those also recovering from COVID-19. If you'd like to add a name of someone you're thinking about, go around the sanctuary. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, as together let us say, Amen. And we sing the words of Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. It's found maybe in your programs, but in the prayer book, it's found on page 253. Misha Berach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's special Friday night as we're anticipating the holiday of Pesach. Tomorrow evening, perhaps at this very time, we'll all be sitting down to participate in one of the oldest and one of the most meaningful rituals from our tradition. It's hard to believe that we are about to embark upon a second round of these Zoom Seders, or as some people have called them, Zaders. But like our ancestors who felt excitement with the Exodus, so too are we, certainly I am, beginning to feel the excitement and hope that the journey in the wilderness of our pandemic might be edging its way towards its end. Like the Israelites who grew and changed in the desert, so too, I hope we all feel this way, we have grown and changed. And I hope that our Seders tomorrow night will reflect that. Passover, some of you may know, some of you may not know, is actually a composite of two different festivals. First, thank you, Sienna, nodding your head. Third-year rabbinic student. She obviously already took that class. First, we have the festival of Pesach, which is really the first evening event, and that is the whole thing with the eating of the Paschal lamb. But the second is a festival of matzot, which is the 7-day thing of the unleavened bread. And along with these two distinct festivals, we also have two distinct names for this holiday. On the one hand, Pesach, Passover, is called Hag HaHerut, the holiday of our freedom, let it be so. It also has an agricultural name. It's called Hag HaAviv, the holiday of spring. Now, in the theme of two of everything, actually, we're really familiar with Passover's main text, which is the Haggadah, but actually there is a second important text associated with that holiday, which is what together we're sharing with you tonight, which is Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs. The Haggadah is a rabbinic compilation of readings about the connection of the holiday to the Exodus and, of course, our thanksgiving for our freedom. The Song of Songs is a biblical book that originally had no connection to Passover, but was later designated as the Megillah, the scroll to be read on this holiday, because of its connection to springtime. But there's more. No surprise. Our tradition suggests that, and if you know Song of Songs, you know this unabashedly sensuous book is a symbol of God's love for Israel, which resulted in God's readiness to redeem Israel in ancient times and also to do so again in the future. The Song of Songs, Shir HaShirim, is a short 8 chapters long, and in it we hear about an unnamed man and woman who pursue one another through verdant fields and valleys lush with flowers. You could say it's a biblical rom-com, filled with flirtatious and even erotic texts. The couple's excitement to be together is palpable, captured in so many famous poetic lines, like this one. Behold, my beloved, here he comes, leaping over the mountains, bounding through the hills. He is like a gazelle, like a young stag, and he calls to me, arise, my darling, my perfect one, come away with me. Or another one you may know, you have captured my heart, my own one, my bride. You have captured my heart with one glance of your eyes, with one look at your neck. How sweet is your love, how much more delightful even than wine. The sheer delight that this pair takes in one another can't help but to stir in us memories of love's richness, especially when our own lives were touched at some moment or another by its magic. Indeed, the most famous line of Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, is Ani lidodi v'dodi li, which our Cantor will sing in a few moments. I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. And these words are often said on the lips of couples under the chuppah on their wedding day, anticipating a life of loving partnership. You won't be surprised, though, given the truly racy nature of the Song of Songs, that its inclusion in the Bible, let alone at Passover, was actually a matter of quite a bit of controversy. In fact, it seems that it would have been entirely excluded from the Bible altogether had it not been for a powerful champion of this book. As the sages debated which books were to be included in the scriptures, it was said that the famous Rabbi Akiva, certainly the greatest rabbi of the first century, weighed in, saying, while all of the sacred writings are holy, the Song of Songs is the holy of holies. Akiva just loved this book. The commentary suggests that Rabbi Akiva's affinity for the Song of Songs stemmed from his belief in the text as an extended allegory for the love relationship, not between people, but between God and Israel. Indeed, the tradition of understanding the Song of Songs as a metaphor for divine eros would go on to deeply inform so many mystical texts. For those of you who are in the mystical realm, the Zohar, for example, just loves Song of Songs. And even the philosopher Maimonides was really drawn to it. He's known to have said, what is proper form of love of God? It is that we should love Adonai with great, overpowering, fierce love, as if we were lovesick for a partner. That might be hard to achieve, but perhaps there is still room as well to read the Song of Songs in much more earthly terms, as a celebration of human partnerships and acknowledgement that physical love is something that is quite beautiful. In our tradition, not base, not ugly, but a gift from our Creator. Indeed, the very first commandment given to Adam and Eve at the Garden of Eden is that they should be fruitful and multiply. A charge not to be ashamed of their sexuality, but to be ennobled by it. How lucky we are to have this in our tradition. It's a beautiful piece. And Passover is the place where we read this book. Passover itself is a combination of a celebration of nature, the renewal of life at springtime, and also, of course, the history of redemption from slavery. Reading the Song of Songs as this additional piece, both as poetry that celebrates human love and the beauty of spring, and as a parable that celebrates the love relationship with God, all this results in a beautiful picture of our redemption. It deepens our understanding and connection and joy at this holiday of Pesach, which begins in just 24 hours. I hope you are ready. Thank you to our band and Cantor Shochet for bringing us some of the most beautiful words from Song of Songs.
So thank you for that introduction to this about Song of Songs. It's we're both asked often to include Song of Songs in weddings that we do, and clearly from a musical standpoint, there have been so many compositions written from the book of Song of Songs. So I just wanted to share two short songs with you. The first one I'm going to share with you is Dodi Li, that the rabbi mentioned. Dodi Li, which comes from the Song of Songs, chapter 2, verse 16. The words are, "My beloved is mine, and I am his. Who walks among the lilies? You are beautiful, my beloved. Your eyes are dove-like. You are handsome, my beloved, and pleasant." Now, let this music of this particular melody I've chosen by Donnie Massang allow you to let the melody paint a picture of the text. Think of walking into the garden on springtime and feel the freshness of this melody. And as we just experienced this beautiful 80-degree day today, and we're really feeling spring, let this music also help us lead our way into that proverbial garden. Dodi Li by Donnie Massang. Dodi li va'ani lo haroe b'shoshanim. Dodi li va'ani lo haroe b'shoshanim. Hinach yafa rayati hinach yafa enayich yonim. Dodi li va'ani lo haroe ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. A beautiful and contemporary love song. And the second song I wanted to do is from another part of Song of Songs. It's actually a little bit before Dodi Li is said. It's Ana Dodi, which is, my beloved spoke to me and said, rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth, the time of singing is come, and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. This is a melody that's a little older. It's from the mid-60s, written by Cantor composer Charles Davidson. Has a different feel than the Donnie Masang melody. Not so much a love song as I think this more exemplifies the text of the winter is over and we're ready for something new. So, Ana Dodi. Ana Dodi ve'amar li, Ana Dodi ve'amar li, O milah rayati yafati, O milah הסתיו עבר, הגשם הלך, כי הנה הסתיו עבר, הלך, הלך לו. אני צמין נראו בארץ, אני צמין נראו הזמיר הגיע, את הזמיר הגיע, וכל התור נשמה בארצנו, וכל התור נשמה בארצנו, נשמה Hope it gives you another taste of this Passover holiday with Shir HaShirim. So we are ready for, thank you, ready for our concluding prayers.
We come to the last section of our service, including Aleinu L'Shabeach, and of course we will say Kaddish Atom, the Mourner's Kaddish, with all of you. On page 282 in the prayer book, Aleinu, if you're comfortable at home or here, rising in body or spirit, and joining us in singing Aleinu 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטש שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
On page 287, won't you join me as we read together, making our way to Bayom Hahu? May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and let the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
And now we come to a moment of memory, of honoring those whose lives influenced ours and are very much missed, especially as we approach a holiday. We take a moment just to reflect on those people or to read a reading. There are some poems, some meditations between pages 288 and 294. I invite you to take a moment either with a reading or just with the memory of someone perhaps you're missing very much. You're missing at this season, you're missing at this holiday. We take our own time to prepare for Kaddish Yatom. Before we recite these ancient words, we share names of people who are in the first stage of mourning, initially, Shloshim. They've lost a loved one in the last 30 days, and we hope this community has been able to support all of you and be there for you in these very difficult first few weeks. We extend our condolences to the Kaiser family, to Rebecca, Sydney, and Sam, who have lost their dad and husband, Matt Kaiser. To Jean Ross on the death of her beloved husband, Phil. To Daniel, Jaron, and Nathan Hoffman, who lost their beloved wife and mother, Kimberly, Kim, just a number of days ago. To Judy Macon Ladenburg on the death of her husband, Jerry. And Sarah Stone on the death of her grandmother, Annette Gever. And to Phoebe Gray on the death of her daughter, Lisa Sue Gray. To these names, we add the names of people whose yahrzeits are observed on this Shabbat. Herman Adelsberg, Jack Berner, Herman Keynes, Albert Chodakowitz, Jerome Cohen, George Cohn, Gunther Erlbacher, Pauline Frank, Jenny Glassberg, Anne Price Gray, Saul Hirschenhart, Norbert Hunnekens, Julius Jackal, Samuel Janis, Albert Kahn, Dorothy Kane, Arlene Kaplan, Florence Kushner, Dorothy Lavin, Shirley Levins, Arthur Liskow, Sally Moss, Rose Ornstein, Gertrude Pinkert, Leo Rosenbaum, Howard Rosenblum, Robert Ross, Phil Rudin, Sarah Rudolph, Enid Sandler, Harriet Schlesinger, Florence Shulkin, Morris Shapiro, Nancy Shepard, Julius Smith, Richard Springer, Edward Steckenberg, Helene Steinberg, Rosalie Steinberg, Morris Tribitz, Arthur Waldman, Yael Weisblatt, Norman Weiss, Belle Wint, Daniel Winograd. We think of all those people who died in Atlanta, in Boulder, and in other places, violent acts around our world, those people who died of COVID. And let me pause now if there's a name that you'd like to add here in our sanctuary or at home, or if I mispronounced a name, and I apologize for that, I hope you'll speak that name again. But if anyone wants to say a name here. Sam, thank you. We join the mourners here in the sanctuary. We join the mourners at home, those who are comfortable standing and sharing on page 294, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chaye chon uv'yom echon v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha birchu, leolam mimko birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'al miran ba'alma v'imeru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace and comfort and strength and love to everyone who is mourning, to everyone who is grieving here and everywhere. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. Won't you please sit down, be seated?
Nancy Reader.
And thank you. We turn now to a member of our board, longtime member of our congregation, and many years of service, Nancy Reader, who through Zoom will share some greetings and announcements with all of us. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Rabbi Schwartzman, and thank you for those little tidbits about Passover, which I did not know in spite of all of my religious school upbringing. And thank you, Cantor, Shochet, for new melodies. It's always a pleasure to hear the band. And thank you for this opportunity to get out of the sweatpants that I've been wearing for the last year. It's a good opportunity. I'm honored to welcome you, that means everybody who's listening to this service, on behalf of our congregation to our worship service tonight. Whether you're here for the first time or have been here countless times before, we're delighted to have you join us. During these most challenging of times, it's difficult to convey the audacious hospitality Temple Road of Shalom prides itself on delivering. Audacious hospitality is the practice of radical welcoming and reinforces our beliefs that we are a stronger, richer, healthier community where we reflect diversity of modern Jewish life. And I would be neglectful if I didn't add, as co-chair of the Inclusion Committee, we strive to make sure that our congregation and all of our activities are accessible to those with disabilities. For those of you who are visitors tonight, whether in person or virtual, we hope you will join us in person when we're able to do so. It will be a joy to welcome you properly and tell you more about Extraordinary Community. Please check out the e-newsletter from yesterday that was sent to the membership and the latest edition of The Connection, which we received just the other day, for more announcements of upcoming events here at Temple Road of Shalom. And Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. Passover to everybody.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom.
Just one, sharing with as many people as possible. As you know, and as you saw through the stream, it's wonderful to have congregants in the sanctuary. It's so great to see all of you, people I know and love, every single one of the people here. I want to mention to the congregation that at the beginning of every month, or just the week before, we make available the entire month and you can sign up. But then actually every week you can also check in if you're interested. Like, we didn't quite fill 20. And as you could see, I hope from the pictures, we are distanced from one another. We're wearing our masks when seated. And I feel very comfortable and just thrilled to have everyone here. And it's wonderful, really great.
And if people forget, in the e-letter each week, there is a link where you can sign up to be in the sanctuary. So that's the place to find it. But you can always call the temple and we'll put you on the list. So love to see you here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Nancy, for being on Zoom. Thank you to Graham, who's running our audio, and John, our video. And, of course, thank you to our musicians again. We welcome Bruno, and we welcome back Dallas and Aaron and Tony. And we turn now to the Kiddush, which is found on page 5 in your prayer book. Please rise and join us as we sanctify Shabbat with Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh Zecher letziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu v'acharta V'otanu kidashta Mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
And we're going to end tonight in anticipation of the Seder with Adir Hu, one of the traditional, it carries the traditional tune of the Passover holiday, is the melody of Adir Hu. But tonight, a little bit of a jazz version of that traditional melody with our band. And for those of you here in the sanctuary, the words are in the program. We'll do a verse in Hebrew first. Then there'll be an opportunity for the band to improvise a little bit on that melody, and then we'll sing the verse in English. For those of you watching at home, we'll have the words on the screen for you. So let's join together in Adir Hu. Adir Hu, Adir Hu, Yivne Veita Bekorov, Bimheira, Bimheira, V'yameinu Bekarov, El B'nei, B'nei Veitecha Bekarov. To our band. Of might, God of right, thee we give all glory, thine all praise in these days, as in ages hoary, when we hear, year by year, freedom's wondrous story.
Tomorrow night and beyond, freedom's wondrous story, freedom for all people, safety for all people, peace and health for all people. May Pesach be meaningful for all of us and inspire us to step out in the world to make it a better, safer, wholer, more loving place. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.